In the early days, the automatic gearbox was seen as the enemy of driving enjoyment, robbing drivers of the fine control and interaction brought by a decent manual shift, while also being sluggish and slow. Automatics have always felt at home in plush, luxurious machines. But thanks to the advance in technology, the very best automatic cars now come in all shapes and sizes, from super minis to family SUVs. Modern automatic gearboxes are smoother, quicker, and more finely tuned than ever before, with the most responsive examples found in the world's greatest sports cars and supercars. The best automatic gearboxes can change cogs quicker than a fluent flick of the wrist and aren't jerky at low speeds, making them perfect in high-powered machines and commuter family cars alike. Whether you want fuel economy, comfort, convenience, or raw exhilaration, there's a plethora of options to decipher on today's market, and a few different gearbox technologies that lend themselves to specific types of driving. Below, we've picked out the 10 best automatic cars on sale right now, and our list covers everything from automatic city cars to SUVs and supercars. Number 1. BMW 3 Series. BMW appears to be trading on wacky, controversial styling as of late, but the latest 3 Series remains resolutely sensible and brilliant. It's difficult to pick holes in the facelifted model, which loses the option of a manual gearbox in favor of an 8-speed automatic sourced from ZF. The gearbox is refined and preempts your driving exceptionally well, smoothly shifting into the right gear when you need it to. Punchy 6-cylinder engines sit at the top of the range. Their hushed, unstressed character is a great match for the gearbox, but even the 4-cylinder diesel engine in the 320d is relatively quiet and potent enough. The latest 3 Series combines BMW's trademark poise and accuracy with a compliant ride, and its new dual-screen iDrive 8 infotainment system is a match for the best on the market. Frankly, so is the rest of the car. The last 3 generations of Porsche 911 have moved the goalposts for automatic sports cars. Early torque converter Tiptronic units were slightly out of step with the 911's alert dynamics, lacking immediacy at crucial moments during a fast drive. However, over time and through multiple iterations of its dual-clutch PDK automatic gearbox, Porsche has come to produce one of the best automatic gearboxes out there. It's almost surreal how quickly the 992 generation car can flick through gears. Pulling a paddle provides a seamless upshift or a perfectly blipped downshift to keep the turbocharged flat-6 motor in its sweet spot. The latest 911 is bigger than any version before, but it does a brilliant job of keying into the road and carrying huge speed. Not only that, the car is a comfortable cruiser with a beautifully finished cabin and plenty of storage space for a weekend away. The 911 really is one of the most usable sports cars on sale. The Mercedes S-Class is precisely the type of car that the automatic gearbox was initially intended for. Designed to isolate the driver from the taxing elements of driving, the latest S-Class is soothing and brimming with tech, not least its hyper-advanced 9-speed automatic gearbox. The torque converter unit switches between ratios almost imperceptibly, and Mercedes engineers have honed its software calibration to impressive effect. Unless you're pushing hard, which, let's face it, isn't a common occurrence in an S-Class, the gearbox doesn't let the engine stray into noisy territory. That's a good thing, because the S-Class cuts out tire roar and harshness from the road beautifully, and any rough edges would emerge very quickly. The interior looks more spectacular than ever too, thanks in part to Mercedes' latest MBUX infotainment touchscreen. It feels modern and intuitive, although the S-Class's cabin quality falls slightly short of its predecessors in some places. The MG3 has just received a radical redesign, and it's safe to say the small hybrid Super Mini is not only a significant improvement over the previous generation, but it is now one of the best examples in its class, both in terms of its high equipment level and high-tech hybrid system. The MG3 uses a 1.5-litre four-cylinder petrol engine and an electric motor, which sounds fairly standard for a hybrid car, but the majority of the power comes from the electric motor, with the engine only cutting in to top up the battery when it's running low, or sending power directly to the front wheels when more performance is needed via a 3-speed automatic transmission. The gearbox is pretty smooth and unintrusive thanks to the assistance from the electric motor, but modulating the throttle pedal when parking will take some getting used to. On the road, the MG3 has the performance and refinement of cars from the class above and can handle rough, potholed roads with ease. But in town is where the efficient hybrid system can work its magic, with well over 60 mpg possible. Not only will it cost you pennies to run, but the MG3 is also one of the cheapest hybrid cars currently on the market. The 12th generation Toyota Corolla has been quietly impressive since it went on sale in 2019. Its sophisticated TNGA platform, peerless reliability, and fuel-sipping efficiency won us over immediately. Unfortunately, its CVT automatic gearbox has been something of a weakness, causing a drone under acceleration and an unnatural throttle response. Happily, Toyota updated the Corolla in 2023, and the gearbox is no longer a real hindrance. Throttle response is much more direct and the revs don't often flare up during normal driving, so the Corolla is chilled and easygoing on the move. It's also grippy and willing in corners, although this isn't at the expense of comfort. Bumps and imperfections are smothered nicely, and in typical Toyota fashion, there's a sense of solidity throughout the car. Toyota claims that over 60 mpg is possible too, thanks to a 1.8-litre petrol hybrid powertrain. Toyota's infotainment tech has fallen short of class leaders in the past, but the facelift's new 10.5-inch touchscreen setup is a huge improvement. The Volkswagen Golf rival is more talented than ever. It's safe to say that the Renault Clio is one of the best small cars you can buy. And we're such a fan of the French Super Mini that it won our coveted Super Mini of the Year award in 2022. So it's no surprise that the Renault Clio is also one of our favorite automatic cars in E-Tech hybrid form. The E-Tech uses a 1.6-litre four-cylinder petrol engine, which is supplemented by 2 electric motors and drives through an innovative clutchless automatic gearbox. It sounds awfully complex, but in reality, the setup feels reassuringly familiar for anyone who has driven a hybrid-powered hatch. The Clio pulls away on electric power alone, with the engine firing up above town speeds when more grunt is required. One of the electric motors helps smooth out the gear changes and mitigate any jerkiness from its clutchless design, and the Clio feels surprisingly polished considering the unusual drivetrain. When we pitted the Clio against its Yaris hybrid rival, we managed to achieve 5 mpg. So if you're predominantly driving around town, then you could see a figure well over 60 mpg. Find a twisty road, and the Clio doesn't unravel either, with direct steering and a composed ride giving a grown-up feel. The Renault's impressive 391-litre boot also belies its Super Mini proportions, and the cabin is neatly designed with decent connectivity.